Let's just make the assumption that AI does start to get traction and does become widely deployed. How does it change the economics of software delivery? I mean, we've had this assumption that back in the PC era, it was clearly you built it and then it was practically free to deliver. And so you had super high margins. Cloud computing took away some of that advantage, and now AI is taking away even more of that. So we really are now in a variable cost business of delivery because you never know what the compute requirements are going to be for a given query.
Yeah, you've got kind of two parts to that. The first is that the end user, the way they you work with your tool can massively vary the complexity of query, the number of tokens, if you want to put it in those terms, that you might end up using. And that's not always entirely predictable, especially if you're using multi-model approaches, which you probably should be doing, right? So from the point of view of I'm charging my customer $200 a week or $200 a month or whatever it might be, how much are they costing me? And that is very much a movable feast. So that at one level is like, how do we even know what to charge for our tools, our product that makes it something that's a viable commercial model going forward? On the back of that, though, of course, is that you've got the need for this massive capital investment into the data centers that can run the GPUs, because you can't take an old data center that's based around air cooled technology and just stuff some GPUs in it and think that's going to get you where you're going. So you're sort of basing your compute on very much a movable platform where there's new vendors coming into that space, some of which are making big claims but have very spotty track records in actually delivering.
Yeah.
So if I'm somebody who's creating an application that uses AI, I'm not sure how much I should be charging people, because I don't really know how they're going to use the product is going to change my costs. And in any case, my costs from the hardware manufacturers, from the data center providers, or if I'm using Anthropic or OpenAI models, those prices could fluctuate on me wildly. So all of that's going on. And I think we're nowhere near stability in understanding the actual real cost of GPU workloads to know at the moment, are we going to get to profitability for some of these ideas?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So what you're really pointing out is that we don't really know the answer to any of these questions yet because we don't know the cost structures. We don't know what's going to be a profitable service to deliver.
So I was chatting to one of my clients recently who's head of engineering for their company. And I'm like, well, there's always chaos going on. So what do we know? What we do know is we don't know we don't know how the pricing is going to change. So we don't know if suddenly we're going to get a rug pull like we did recently with Cursor, for example, around the pricing model. But what that means is we need to be tool agnostic in the things we do. So if we're investing time, energy in tailoring these tools, let's make that a big agnostic, because we might need to switch out. If we're building solutions that make use of LLMs, building solutions which again to an extent can be LLM agnostic or can from the beginning have a multi-model approach baked in, so that if one vendor starts having issues, we can start self-hosting. We can, I don't know, run Llama on our own hardware in the future. So I think if I'm a larger enterprise company, I'm very much I'm going to keep as many options open as I can and almost adopt a bit of a watching brief, being much more open, not going all in on any one of these providers right now, because I just can't hand on the heart tell you what they're going to be